Hey everyone, welcome to the Bullflow Academy Basic Series. In part 3, we're going to cover the filters, how I decide when to take a trade, and our alerts. Let's kick things off with filters, one of the most powerful features in Bullflow. These help you zero in on only the type of flow you're looking for. This is the section over here where we have our quick filters, and then over here, this button will pull out a side panel that will refine what you're looking for even further. Let's start with these quick filters over here. Now the scanner is really designed for maximum efficiency. We've got these quick filters up here so that you don't even have to leave the main screen to configure the scanner how you want it. If you're not sure what one of the filters does, you can hover over it and you'll get this pop-up with a quick explanation. Now to turn them on, you simply click whichever filters you want. And there's two ways to turn them off. You can either click them again and it removes them, or if you have a bunch that you want removed all at once, you can come over to this button right here, and this will set all your filters back to the default settings. Now, one of my favorite quick filters, if you scroll, you'll see this urgent one. So what that's doing is showing us where are people rapidly trying to enter a position. Now, what I like to do at the start of the day is right when the bell rings, what are people rushing into? And if you look at some of these returns, we've got 14, 19, 110, 235, 106, there's definitely some losses in there because no system is going to be perfect, but 51, 15, 194, 233, 86 at the top there. So this is a filter that shows me where are people really rushing into, and that's why it's one of my favorites. Now, above these quick filters, we have the section that says favorite tickers appear here. And there's two things we can do with that. So let's say you have a favorite ticker that you like to trade. Let's just randomly grab anything on the scanner here. NVAX is the one that I picked. Let's say you trade that ticker often. What you can do is come over here and click favorite ticker, and you'll see NVAX up there. Now, anytime you want to see the flow for that particular ticker, all you have to do is click on that, and there's all the flow for the day on that particular ticker. Now, the other thing we can do with that favorite section is let's say you're trading a specific ticker. Apple here, very popular. Let's say there's a particular contract you want to keep on watch. If you click on the ticker and then click favorite contract, that contract now appears over here. So let's reset all the filters. This is the standard flow. If I click on that button, one click brings me right to that specific contract, and that is designed for maximum efficiency. Now, above these quick filters, I do want to point out this snail here. You can see that says toggle slow mode. Now, right when the bell rings in the morning, the options flow can move very quickly. There's a lot of data coming through. So by using the snail, what you'll see here is it changes everything to the ask side only, and then it also bumps up some of the minimums that we're looking for. So using that button right in the beginning of the trading day will help slow things down to make it easier to find some stuff that stands out. And by limiting it to ask side, we're generally looking for the opening transactions. So that snail is going to help things out early morning when the options flow is moving very quickly. So until you're experienced, you might want to use this snail slow mode. Now let's take a look at some options flow that I liked and why I liked it. So this is DAL. Everything on the screen here is the 620 $43 calls. So I have this isolated to that specific contract. One thing I like is when they're piling money into a very specific contract. To me, that tells me there's a clear thesis in mind where they have a price target and they have a time frame which they think it'll hit. So if we look at the dollar amounts here, we've got some small ones, then we've got 167, 140, 157, some more smaller ones, 144, 244, 131. All said and done, this is over $1.4 million of options flow. So we have a little bit of time on it. It's just a little bit out of the money, so the contract makes sense to me. The dollar amount is capturing my attention. There's some blocks in here, but they're mostly ask side sweeps. So the bid here and the two bids up here don't scare me. The sweeps are showing me that they're ask side, so those bids and those blocks don't scare me away. Now, one thing I like to see is the price increasing as they're buying these contracts. So if we look over here, we're starting at 179, 180, 184, 185, 187, 192. It does dip a little bit there, and then it goes to 201, 204. So as they're buying these contracts, they're driving the price up. And while they're driving the price up, they're not shying away. They're adding more contracts at those elevated prices. So that's a good sign. The other thing I like to look for is the size column here. I want to see that the volume traded that day is exceeding the open interest. That means there's an increased activity in that particular contract relative to what's been open prior to that day. And this size column, being green and purple, is telling me that the volume of these trades is exceeding the open interest. Now, if you look at this percent return column, these have done 125%. 155% from that opening price. So this is the type of flow that I like to follow. This is the type of high probability that I'm looking for. Here's an important note. Even if you're following high probability options flow, make sure you have an exit plan. High probability means just that, high probability. It's not guaranteed. So you always have to be prepared for a trade to go against you. That means proper trade management. So even with high probability, you still want to size properly and have a stop loss in mind. And one of my absolute favorite parts of Bullflow is that, yes, we have alerts, but you can also create your own custom alerts. How cool is that? Now to get to the alert panel, you click on this bell up here, and that'll bring out this side panel. One thing I want to point out to you guys, look at this alert called 7-Star Technology. What is that? Well, that's a custom alert that I made, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that yourselves. First, if you click this button right here, this is going to bring up all the different type of alerts available. So you can see we have the algo generated alerts. You can choose to watch just your custom alerts, or you can choose to get some of the alerts from the Discord group. So if you want just the custom alerts, if you remove all these, you'll see that only 7-Star Technology, and that was a test version that I did there a previous day, only those are showing up. So you can choose which alerts you want on your Bullflow panel. That's this button over here. Now, let me show you how to create your own custom alert. Now, it's really important to note that when you get an alert, these are not buy alerts. They're simply alerting us that something unusual has happened. So a lot of times I'll get these alerts and I'll go investigate it, and it turns out it's not a trade I'm going to follow. So just as a reminder, these are not buy alerts. They're simply alerting us that something happened that needs to be investigated further. Okay, so I want to come over to this button right here. When I click on that, it brings out this side panel. So let's just create a random alert that we might want to save. So let's say we want calls and we want the bullish calls only. So we're going to do ask side and sweeps. And let's say I want just the technology sector. And then let's say I want to see flow that has anything of $500,000 or more. What I'm going to do now is come up here and save filter as alert. Custom name. This is where you can name it whatever you want. So let's just say 7-Star Tech for this one. When I click on save, this is now a saved filter as an alert. So when I click on the alert panel, you see 7-Star Tech. So now when I come over back to the alerts, if something triggers, it'll show up right here. So that's how you can set your own
If that wasn't
custom
cool enough,
alerts
check
on
this
Bullflow.
out.
You can have your own custom alerts sent directly to your phone. And that wraps up the Bullflow Beginner Series. Let's recap what you learned in this 3-part series. In part 1, you learned what unusual options flow is, why it matters, and how to read the Bullflow scanner. In part 2, you learned how to spot high conviction trades. And in part 3, you learned how to filter options flow, set alerts, and execute on trades. Now the next step is to join us in the Bullflow Discord. I'm live in there every trading day from open to close, breaking down live flow, posting ideas, market news, and real-time callouts. I'm even available after hours if you have any questions on anything you learned in this video series. Thanks for watching.